It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Ohio State head baseball coach, Greg Beals. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you got started in college coaching?
Yeah, well, at a young age, I grew a passion for the game of baseball, and I knew I wanted to stay in the game as long as I can. And coaching was certainly one thing that I thought I was going to do and do it for a long time. When I graduated high school, I went to college. I went to Kent State. I went to trying to get a teaching degree. I thought I was going to get a teaching degree and coach in high school. And Brent, I tell you, I took that first lesson planning class in college, and I realized quickly I didn't want to teach in high school, and that was a challenge. But we shifted gears and put myself in a position where I got a degree in kinesiology um, and a minor in business. So I kind of keyhole myself into coaching at the college or professional level.
Can you talk about what you've accomplished so far at Ohio State?
Wow, that's a question that's really hard to put into a simple answer. And there's so many things we feel good about. Obviously, you'd love to win more baseball games, and our record's been good. Our championships have been good of late, but you can always think about games you'd like to win and records being higher. But the thing I'm most proud of is uh, just the brotherhood that we've created and the alumni that we've connected with in my time here, and just really continuing to forge the idea of Buckeye Nation in the baseball program.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture you've built for the baseball program?
Yeah, culture is something that's very, very, very important to me, and that we want to create an environment, a culture that our guys can really thrive in, and we've defined that culture. And a lot of people talk about it, but I think it's really critical that you define it so that everybody in your organization knows exactly what you're talking about. We talk about our three core values: our elite preparation, competitive toughness, and brotherhood. And we've defined all three of those core values so that everybody in our program knows what they are. Those are near and dear to me, and I want to make sure that my coaching staff and all of our players, our strength coach, our athletic trainer, and everybody's on board.
Can you talk about, of course, the 2019 season making the run to the Big Ten tournament?
Yeah, well, we got hot. We knew we had a chance to be a good ball club that year, but we had a lot of new faces playing in some new spots, and um, but we thought we were going to be good. It took a little bit longer. It took some growing pains than we were hoping, but the back half of the regular season, the regular conference season, in the tournament, we were playing a really good baseball, and it was fun to see that all come together. It's fun to see guys like Dylan Dingler emerge as an elite player, a guy like Andrew Magno, who was our closer that year, really put it together and figure themselves out. And most importantly, just seeing the whole team and what that does to drive the camaraderie and the brotherhood is fun to be a part of.
Can you talk about, of course, the 2018 season making it to the NC Regionals?
Yeah, very different ball clubs. That ball club, the 18 team, had a lot of experience on it. And we won a bunch of games and qualified for the national tournament as an at-large team because of our record and our the strength of schedule that we played. So that team was solid from the get-go and just played really good and consistently. Again, we were very strong in the bullpen with Seth Kinker was our go-to guy in the bullpen. You talk about the talent of your ball club. You got a guy like Dylan Dingler, who's a second-rounder catcher. He's playing center field because we had Jacob Barnwell, who was a junior, who was a catcher, and Dylan was a freshman. And to get the best 9 guys on the field, he went out and played center field. So a very talented ball club, and some guys that made sacrifices, moving positions in order to put the best 9 guys on the field.
How was your amazing 2016 season?
Well, very talented. We've had some talented teams at Ohio State, but that group was very talented. And, we had depth, real strong depth in our lineup. And you go all the way around the field, and there are guys that played professionally, playing in almost all the positions from that 2016 team. So it was very fulfilling to see the work from the recruiting standpoint, to see those guys come in, also to see the development that took place and just see how hard a group of guys worked. And a lot of those guys on that team were juniors or seniors and have been together for 3 years, and they had seen the ups and downs and the trials and really grown together. It was fun to be part of that team.
Can you talk about your time at Ball State?
Sure. So Ball State was my first head coaching position. And, I had spent 9 years as an assistant at Kent State and felt like I was ready to make that next move and being a head coach. And fortunately, we were having success at Kent State, and the administration at Ball State recognized that. And I'm forever grateful for Pat Quinn, who's the associate athletic director at Ball State, and really headed up the search for the new baseball coach when I was hired there. And that's really what sprung aboard my career, was Pat Quinn's decision and trust and belief in me to be the next head coach at Ball State. And fortunately, we did some good things over there, and we got recognized. But man, I love it. Ball State's a great community. I've got some near and dear friends there. It's a really cool campus. And that baseball program, I know Coach Maloney's in charge there now, and they certainly have their niche for success over there. And I was, fortunate to be a part of it.
Can you talk about, of course, your time playing at Kent State and then coaching your alma mater at Kent State?
Yeah, that's many years there. So, spent 3 years as a player there, and was fortunate enough to play right away as a freshman. And then fortunate enough to be drafted after my junior year, and I went and played in the New York Mets farm system and played there for 3 years. And kind of the writing had kind of gotten on the wall as far as making a career out of playing. And at that same time, I was offered the job to be the #1 assistant coach at my alma mater at 25 years old. So, man, I was really fortunate to have that opportunity. It's a tough decision. I actually legally, I guess, I retired from professional baseball. I had a contract to go back and play at AA the next year. But I officially retired to start my coaching career. And tough decision, but it's turned out to be a very good decision.
Can you talk about playing in the New York Mets farm system?
Yeah, what a great experience. First of all, it's a dream, for all of us young aspiring baseball players, it's a dream to have a chance to play professionally. And you get to play a lot of baseball games. You get to meet a lot of good players and be around a lot of good baseball people. And that's probably the thing that I cherish the most about my playing experience, is what I learned and all the people that I was exposed to and was able to learn from. It's tough. It's very competitive at the professional level to keep moving forward. And I encourage anybody who gets a chance to play professionally, I think the thing that I would urge them is create another job or create another goal immediately. And that goal is to play in the big leagues. That the minor leagues are fun, but there's a lot of hard work and stuff in the minor leagues. You want to get yourself in the big leagues. I never had a chance to do that. that's a goal you want to give yourself very quickly once you get a chance to play professionally.
Can you talk about the recruitment process at Ohio State and what that involves?
Yeah, well, we start. First of all, you got to identify good players. Let's not mistake. Like it takes a very talented young man to get on our recruiting board and for us to start that process. But really, a young man's ability to run, throw, and hit is just the very beginning. That just gets us started. But I want to make sure we're clear that you got to have that. That's the starter. But like I said, it's only the starter. We're, checking the academic stuff is very important to us in the recruiting process. One of the first things we identify are those core values that we already talked about, Brandon, that the elite preparation, competitive toughness, and brotherhood. I want to make sure they're very aware of the program that they're coming into and what it stands for. But the recruiting process starts with the evaluation from my assistant coaches and myself, out watching a kid play. Then we get on the phone and we talk to all of his coaches, his high school, his summer coaches. We talk to their guidance counselors. We get their transcripts faxed or emailed to us, and we start evaluating their transcripts, really trying to learn as much about the young man as we possibly can, and not just the baseball player. So that there's so much more that goes into recruiting than just what your eyes see on the baseball field.
Can you talk about the official visit and what that is like on the official visit?
Well, I tell you, it's changed a lot in my coaching career. When I first started coaching, we used official visits as an absolute part of the recruiting process. Now, the official visits in this day and age are basically all the guys that have already committed, just because of the recruiting cycle is happening so much faster now than it used to. It used to be when it got to their senior year, you were still recruiting them and you could use the official visit recruiting. Now you can't use the official visit till the senior year. These guys are all already committed by their senior year. So our official visits are usually comprised of a football game and dinner and taking the parents out, and the parents and the coaching staff spending time together, the players and the recruits spending time together. And it's really a fun weekend of meet and greet your future teammates.
Do they get to try on their jersey during their official visit?
Yeah, we try to tour them around, and we tour them through our all of our facilities, including our equipment room, and that's usually a pretty exciting part of the official visit on the tour when they go through the equipment room. And there's a lot of Nike gear in there, Brandon. Let me tell you, there's a lot of Nike gear.
Can you talk about what advice would you give future college athletes that are looking to play college baseball?
Yeah, for the athletes, play hard. When we're, don't be afraid to show your passion. I think there's a lot of kids in our world who are afraid to show that they care, that maybe it's not cool if you show that you care a lot. Let me tell you guys, us coaches, we care a lot about what we're doing. So we want to surround ourselves with young men that care too. So don't be afraid to show that you care. Play with that intensity. We know that you're going to have good days. We know you're going to get hits. We know you're going to make outs. We know that's going to happen. We want to see how you go about playing. Run on and off the field, throw the ball the way, do things, play the game the right way. But play with some intensity and play with some energy and enthusiasm.
What advice would you give college athletes that are looking to get into the professional, like the MLB?
It's the same thing. You gotta develop a toughness about yourself. And if you're in college and you're having some success in college, you've already done that. And the toughness I'm talking about is that the failure rate is going to continue to change. When you go from high school to college, your batting average goes down, your failure rate goes up. When you go to pro ball, that failure rate is going to go up again. And so we've got to develop a toughness. We've got to learn how we're evaluating ourselves. I'm not saying you're not going to be hard on yourself. We're all hard on ourselves, but we got to make sure that we're being fair and that we're keeping ourselves in the right frame of mind to compete and be ready for the next, whether it be the next at bat or the next game.
What advice would you give upcoming college coaches looking to get into the profession?
Tireless. Work, work, work. Be willing to stay around the ballpark. Be willing to stay in the office. If the head coach is there, don't leave him. Don't leave him at the field or in the office. Keep working. Make sure that everybody around you knows that you're willing to put the work in, whether it's field work, recruiting work, being in the cages with your players. There's no definition of a day's work. Sometimes a guy wants to stick around after practice and get swings in. That means you're staying late that night. You know, if the field needs drug or the lips need trimmed or whatever it is on the field, be willing to do it. So just be willing to work. Don't think that anything's going to be easy. It's tough to get the jobs in college baseball. And so you got to make sure you do the work and prove to all the people around you that you have what it takes.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the baseball program at?
Yeah, so our baseball website is ohiostatebuckeyes.com. Then we've got on Twitter, it's at Ohio State Base, just BASE. I'm on Twitter at Bealsy9. I'm sorry, no dots, just Bealsy9. But those are the two main, our website and then Twitter are probably the main ways to keep track of us.
Thank you again, Greg, for your interview, and best of luck at Ohio State this upcoming year.
Thank you, and I appreciate being on with you. I appreciate you taking the time to hear about me and Ohio State baseball.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Greg, for your interview, and best of luck.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.